Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we crack open corporate filings to see what is really going on behind the fancy language. And this time we're looking at Aramark's latest financial moves. And let's just say they're doing some serious shuffling of their debt. We're diving into a Form 8K, which is like a current event report for public companies. It tells us about significant things that happen outside of their regular quarterly or annual reports. And for Aramark, the big news involves a major update to their credit agreement. If you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below, where we break down these kinds of filings together. So, what is this amendment number 19 really about? It sounds technical, but it is basically a big change to a loan agreement. Think of it like renegotiating the terms of a really large loan that the company took out a while back. Aramark Services Incorporated, which is a part of the bigger Aramark, along with some other subsidiaries, have tweaked this agreement. The original loan agreement was signed way back in March of 2017. This amendment, dated the 11th of December 2025, makes some pretty important changes, especially when it comes to their borrowing costs. The core of this announcement is about refinancing a big chunk of their debt. They've essentially paid off all of their old US Term B-8 loans and replaced them with new loans called US Term B-10 loans. And we're talking about a serious amount of money here, over $2.3 billion. This new loan is due in June of 2030. They needed to do this to essentially get a better deal on their interest payments. When companies can refinance their debt at a lower interest rate, it saves them a lot of money over time, which can then be used for other investments or returned to shareholders. Now let's talk about the cost of this new debt. These new loans have an interest rate that can be chosen. One option is based on something called Term SOFR, which is a benchmark interest rate. On top of that benchmark rate, there is a margin, and initially that margin is set at 1.75%. The other option is a base rate, which is calculated using a few different benchmarks, including the prime rate of the bank handling the loan, and that has an initial margin of 0.75%. Essentially, they're trying to lock in a more favorable borrowing cost. By refinancing, they're likely aiming to reduce their interest expenses, which directly impacts their profitability. It is like getting a better interest rate on your mortgage, but on a much larger scale. These new loans also have a repayment schedule. They'll be making principal payments every quarter, starting in December of 2028 until March of 2030. This means they're structuring the repayment over a few years. This structure is pretty standard for this type of loan, and it shows they have a plan for paying back this significant amount of money. The terms regarding guarantees, collateral, and what they call covenants, which are like rules they have to follow, are staying pretty much the same as they were for the old loans. This indicates that the underlying business structure and the security for the loan remain consistent. This entire description is just a summary for all the nitty-gritty details. The full document, the actual amendment number 19, is filed as Exhibit 10.1. That is where you'll find every single clause and subclause of the deal. And of course, like all modern filings, there is a cover page interactive data file. This is basically a machine-readable version of the filing, designed to help computers and analysts easily pull out key financial information. Think of it as a digital summary tag for the entire document. Signing off on this report is James J. Tarangello, who holds the important title of Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. His signature confirms that Aramark, the company, is officially reporting this. Now, let's put on our investor hats and look at what this means. Aramark is a massive company that provides food, facilities, and uniform services. This refinancing of over $2.3 billion signals a strategic move to manage their debt more effectively. By replacing older, likely more expensive debt with newer, potentially cheaper debt, they're aiming to improve their financial health. This is a smart move for any company, especially in a sector that can be sensitive to economic fluctuations. Lower interest expenses mean more money left in pockets for things like expansion, innovation, or even weathering economic downturns. It also suggests confidence from lenders in Aramark's ability to manage its obligations. We don't have specific financial tables in this particular filing to analyze today, but this refinancing action itself tells a story of proactive financial management. It is a company looking to optimize its capital structure. However, it is always about the execution. While refinancing is generally positive, the company still has to meet the repayment schedules and adhere to all the covenants. The risk here is if business performance declines significantly, making those quarterly payments a strain. But based on this action alone, it appears Aramark is making solid choices to strengthen its financial foundation for the future. It shows they are actively managing their liabilities to ensure long-term stability. Alright, that is our breakdown of Aramark's latest filing. What is your take on these refinancing moves and what they signal for the company's future? Do you think it is a smart play? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description to join the conversation. Thanks for watching. See you next time.